A few years ago, I made a video about the future of the Camaro. At the time, I believed that General Motors was making a huge mistake if they let one of America's favorite performance cars disappear. Well, fast forward to today, because I've just received information from someone I trust inside of General Motors. And if what I've been told is accurate, this may be one of the biggest performance stories that GM has been hiding in years. And trust me, this story starts with the Camaro, but by the end of this video, you're gonna realize that it has just as much to do with the Corvette and the Cadillac. Now, before we get into what I found out, I wanna take you back a few years. When I made this video, nobody knew what GM was going to do with the Camaro. The 6th generation was ending, Corvette had gone mid-engine, and everyone seemed convinced that the Camaro's best days were behind it. But I wasn't convinced. I believe GM still had a huge opportunity, and today, that old video suddenly means a whole lot more. A few days ago, I received a message. And at first, I honestly didn't think much about it because it basically confirmed rumors that we've all been hearing for quite a few months now. The Camaro is reportedly coming back. Hold on before anybody jumps into the comments. No, GM has not officially announced this yet. And as you know, nothing is official until Chevrolet says it is. But hearing this from someone that I trust immediately got my attention because now the question becomes, what kind of Camaro? If I asked 10 Camaro fans what high performance version GM would build, I think almost everyone would give the same exact answer, the ZL1. And honestly, that's exactly what I expected too. It makes perfect sense. The previous ZL1 was incredible. I've driven a couple of them. 650 horsepower, supercharged V8, and an absolute monster. So naturally, you'd think GM would simply continue that formula. But then I got another message. This one actually surprised me. If these plans come to fruition, GM reportedly isn't planning to bring back the ZL1. Instead, GM is bringing back the Z28. Now, I know some of you are already smiling just like I am, because the Z28 has always meant something different. It wasn't just about horsepower, it was about building the driver's Camaro. It's lighter, sharper, more focused, and honestly, this was exactly what I was predicting in my video a few years ago. But then something hit me. If they're bringing back the Z28, what engine are they putting in it? And that's when this story completely changed. Remember, we've spent a lot of time talking about Corvette recently. The brand new LS6, the next generation of GM's small block, the Grand Sport, the GSX. We've all been focused on Corvette, and that's fine. But here's the question that I've had ever since GM announced this new generation of engines. Why would GM spend a lot of money developing an entirely new small block if Corvette was the only place they planned to use it? That never made any sense to me, and apparently it wasn't. Because according to the information I received, GM has been working on something else. Something that I don't think anyone saw coming. So what exactly has GM reportedly been working on? Apparently, GM has been developing a brand new supercharged 6.7 liter Generation 6 small block V8. So at this point, I'm reading this message and I'm thinking, okay, this is getting interesting because if GM really is building another Gen 6 small block, there's no way they're doing it just for one car. So that's when I kept reading. According to my source, this new supercharged engine is reportedly being developed for the next generation Camaro Z28. Now think about that. The last 28 became famous because it wasn't chasing horsepower numbers, it was chasing lap times. And not just lap times, but balance and driver involvement. So Why would GM reportedly pair that philosophy with a supercharged V8? At first, I couldn't figure it out until I got the next part of the message. And according to the details I received, GM is reportedly targeting around 800 horsepower. That's right, 800 horsepower. If that's true, this wouldn't simply be another Camaro. It would completely redefine what the modern Z28 could be. By the way, this source told me a rumor about an 800 horsepower engine for the new Camaro just a couple of years ago, and now it looks like this is all going to come true. But when I first read the text, I thought that was the biggest surprise. I was wrong, because the very next message completely changed the story. Apparently, this engine isn't just for the Camaro. GM is also planning to use the same engine in the next generation CT5 V Blackwing. Now stop and think about that. The current Blackwing already makes 668 horsepower. It's already considered by many enthusiasts to be one of the greatest performance sedans ever built. Rear-wheel drive, available manual transmission, and a supercharged V8. It's almost the perfect enthusiast car. But if this information is accurate, GM isn't done. They're reportedly planning to take that car to around 800 horsepower as well. That's an increase of more than 130 horsepower. And suddenly, this wasn't just a Camaro story anymore. Now remember, earlier in the video, I intentionally left one detail out because I wanted to save it until now. The details shared with me state that this new supercharged 6.7 liter engine already has a name, the LS5. Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, wait a minute, haven't we heard that name before? And the answer is yes. GM has used the LS5 name in the past, but that was way back in the 70s. So if they're really bringing it back, I think that's a pretty cool nod to Chevrolet's performance history. It was a 454 back then. But honestly, the name isn't what excites me the most. It's what the engine represents. Because now, take one step back. Look at everything GM appears to be building. The Stingray, the Grand Sport, the GSX, the rumored Camaro, the rumored Z28, the future CT5V Blackwing. Do you see it? For years, we've looked at Corvette, Camaro, and Cadillac as completely separate stories. But maybe they've never been separate. Maybe GM has quietly been building an entire family of performance cars around a new generation of small block V8s. And if that's true, this isn't just the return of the Camaro, it's the beginning of GM's next performance era. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to make one thing very clear. General Motors has not officially announced the information that I shared with you today. Plans change, horsepower targets can change, timelines can change. So until GM makes an official announcement, treat this as information from a very trusted source and not as an official GM confirmation. But if what I've told you turns out to be true, I think we're looking at one of the biggest shifts in performance since the introduction of the new mid-engine Corvette. And now I want to hear from you. What was the biggest surprise for you all? Was it the return of the Camaro, or the rumored Z28, or the reported 800 horsepower LS5, or the rumor that the CT5 Blackwing could be headed to 800 horsepower as well? Let me know down in the comments. I know I'm super excited about this new Camaro, especially if they're gonna bring a Z28 back. My very first car ever was a 1995 Camaro Z28, and I would love to own a brand new Z28. And I'm also so thankful that we're not getting a fully electric Camaro, which was the rumor when it was supposed to return, but that's not gonna happen. We're gonna get an ICE engine, and it's gonna be an amazing ICE engine. So please leave your comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Also, smash that red subscribe button on your way out. I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys out on the road.